www.chucktbeats.com at you, man.
I just want to say thank you for everybody that showed up. This is truly a blessing to, to see you guys come out and support us. It was a long journey. Some of y'all know that's out there, that we all was faced with it, and we all, travel down the same road. And like I said, this is overwhelming for me. I mean, it might not, I might not look like I'm excited, but believe me, I'm excited within. To have everybody here and to go down this journey with us, it's a blessing, because what 100 years is about, it's about 3 young men. We went to prison when we was very young.
Look at them pictures.
Very young, teenagers, and was handed out a life sentence, for the things that we've done in the community. And, like I said, we traveled down a real long road. It was a journey, even, for the wives, for the girlfriends, for the mothers, grandparents. They traveled with us, and we also hurt them. So it's a blessing that we are here to be able to give back to our communities, to give back to our family members. I mean, because we took so much. And like I said, this 100 Years enterprise, we didn't plan this, but Allah, God chose this for us. And I don't want to hog up the mic. I just want to say thank y'all for showing up.
Yeah, that was good. That was beautiful spoken, well said. When you understand adversity, setback, tragedies, delayed progression, mishaps, all that, this is what you see with 100 Years. We went through all that. And think about it, like he just said, we didn't go through it by ourselves. We lost a lot. Family members, friends, associates, life. But the humbling thing about it is that we all in here, we met as kids. Even though y'all sitting out there, we met as kids. And truth as it is, it's a blessing by the Creator allowed us to come back together on this side of the walls. Because there's many people still behind there haven't even made it. What I mean by didn't make it, they still stuck there, or many have died. Ain't know who we knew. A close brother of ours just died recently from COVID-19, Ali. He was my mentor. When I was going through some things at age 27, he took me under his wing. And so when we mentioned 100 Years Enterprise, 3 men who came together as juveniles, as youth, as kids, to transfer to society as adults, as grown men who still seek an understanding of themselves. And that's who we are. And thank everyone. I can't thank Keisha enough for everything I done put her through and standing up and still got my back. For coming out, being there, pulling up at the halfway house and say, let's go. Ask me what I'm looking at all the time. She's standing down the street. But it's a beautiful thing, and I'm thankful.
I just want to add a few more thank yous too, man, as we proceed, man. I'd like to thank Kobe's, the gentleman that just left, man, Wesley Alexander, man, that gave us the premise, right, or should I say, the space to be creative in what we doing and what we doing today. Everything's a stepping stone. So, we didn't know, like I said, we didn't know where we was gonna go with this, but they allowed us to have the space to do it, and I appreciate that. Again, and then another thing I want to add to that is our young man out here named Mike Dunn from Juvenile Hall, CEO of Juvenile Hall, Martinez.
Boys Club.
I mean, my bad. I said Juvenile Hall. But Juvenile Hall too. My bad. He did episodes with Juvenile Hall too. But Boys and Girls, he's CEO of Boys and Girls Club, as well as connect us with the Martinez Juvenile Hall system to go in there and be mentors to young men, troubled youth up there in Martinez. I want to thank him for that, introducing us to the Credible Messenger program that we're going to partake in as well, to Greenwood Academy, to go talk to at-risk youth, possibly at-risk youth at the continuation schools at Greenwood Academy in Richmond, California. It's a pleasure to do that, man. Heart shaking. I see my life in front of me as necessary what I'm doing today. It gave me a foundation and a purpose, and I want to thank the brothers that support me and us as well as 100 years, because without y'all, man, we couldn't even fathom what we're doing. So it's a blessing. I just want to reiterate that.
Exactly. Oftentimes people ask, y'all might ask this question too, but we really realize that we're not really just doing it for ourselves. We really understand now it's our calling. It was meant for us to do this here. It was meant for us to serve the community, but also humanity. And we understand that. Because God tells us, with our religious understanding, what you give is what's going to be taken. What you give is what's going to be taken. You give love, love is going to be taken. You receive love, you get love back. And that's how it works. So everything we take or we took, we're giving it back. 100 Years Enterprise.
That's what 100 Years Enterprise stands for.
Any questions for anyone? Shoot.
I got one.
What's your name, sir?
Wayne Upshaw. It's kind of an individual question, because when you guys created, I know it's behind walls, but what were you guys personally going through at the time that you guys decided to come together and put it together?
That was a good question.
Yeah. I mean, far as what we doing right now, this was a fluke. And I'm gonna let Fahim explain how did we before I do the podcast, because he the one approached us with the podcast. So that's where it started. But you also understand that he put motivation to help others together in prison, and he brought that out here. And then he was approached by a gentleman. I'm gonna let him go and put that out there, because he got at us about it.
Yeah. Basically, it began. I received a phone call. I was at work. I was working for Nibby Brothers Construction. Keisha called me. She said, "Hey, I want you to meet this guy named Kobe through her cousin. Her cousin was going through a program called the incubator stage." So I reached out to this guy constantly. He never responded. About 2 months later, I received an email. He said, "Oh, LeJean, man, I apologize, but somebody else reached out and said, hey, this guy trying to get in contact." All right. And so one day, we were at the Richmond Marina. Dante, Patrick, and myself, we went down there, we went to go pray. So we having a good conversation. I said, y'all know what, man? I was approached by this guy who wanted to do an interview on me. He heard about my situation being incarcerated through another party, right? And he was like, man, I want to talk to Fahim, I want to talk to him. So, but before I even went up in there, I told him, I said, listen, this guy want to interview about a podcast. But I used to always hear about podcasts when I was incarcerated, through the program in San Quentin called Ear Hustle. Shout out to Ear Hustle. And so once I was approached, I made a phone call. My two brothers was right with me. His name is Don Griffin. I say, Don, hold on. I got two other people I want you to meet. So we talked with him. We went down there. We went to Kobe's. We did an interview / podcast called How You View You. Once the podcast ended, he said, hey, y'all gonna be bigger than what I can ever imagine y'all can do on his platform, which was called the Dark Network, right? Honestly. And so from there, we came out of huddle. We huddled up, like how we used to play 2-on-2 basketballs, remember that? Yeah. All right. We huddled up. And we came together. I think Patrick was like, man, let's put 100 years behind it. And then we had a meeting. Our wives came together, and here we are today, by the mercy of God. And so, but now, specifically what we were going through at that time, we was going through happiness, joy, sadness, and relief because we just came behind the walls of incarceration 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. At that time, I was only out for barely a year and a half. He just came home. And he had just came home a little bit before that. And that's what we was going through at the time.
But I also, want to say this as well too, to you, Wayne, is that we all went through something personally in prison. And like I said, for me, I always felt I needed to give back because of the things that I did on the streets and the people that I hurted. And so, but it was a blessing how things came together. You know what I'm saying? Because just as I know, being in prison, man, we go through all kind of emotional things that we don't even want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because we all, we're a man. But internally, we go through things. And I went through, man, mentally, emotionally, it was a struggle for me. But I made it out, and I told myself, once I do get out, I do want to give back to my community, and not just my community, but even outside my community. But it was a blessing that how things, pieced up. And so that's why, I'm here doing the work now, really by the grace of God.
And I add this, as far as, what Fahim said, I had just came home. He just basically y'all know how he is with me. If y'all know the relationship me and Fahim had. It wasn't no for me, so, this is what we gonna do. But that's how we always been. He'll throw me on stage without a blueprint and tell me perform. And that's what I'm gonna do. So, but I'll take you guys a little bit deeper because I think that this is important that we understand where we at and where we going, Our situation, man, is unique, man, because my situation at hand was that I was going through a lot of mental issues dealing with surrounding my case being abandoned. That's why we talk about the issues that we come up here, because those are the very issues that we had to go to self-help programs to relieve ourselves of, to be renewed. I was separated from my son for 30 years, and he's here today. And so being on a case that I had that I was abandoned, meaning that I was an aid and abandon, y'all all know about it. I was left for dead, basically, throwaway pistol, right? And the pain that I suffered from that, right? Dante and Fahim held my shoulders up. It was beyond what neighborhood I'm from, and where we from and all that. We formulated a brotherhood based on what we believe in, and we took on those values and held each other accountable for those values.
Absolutely.
Even almost worse this time, because I cried, had nervous breakdown many times. Y'all know. And so when we talk about, what 100 years stand for, right? It stands for everything that we believe in, right? And what we impart, because the ones who know us know that that's what we are. Ain't no faking, ain't no empathy. This is who we are. We that authentic. And based by the blessings of Allah, He caused us to come out and be together as we was in. We was in a situation that it wasn't no friendship. It was the value was brotherhood. Because friendships could be compromised.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that virtue that we hold to each other, one for our brother, we one for ourselves, stands true with us. Right? And we all 100 years. You know what I mean? If we want to just look at it in that context, because we all got a bond with you guys too. So it's truly a blessing to be alive and even think the way we think in today and where we going. And so I hope I answered your question, Wayne, because I want you to understand the impact.
The question is,
of what we get
because
from
being
this,
placed in that situation,
to you.
I didn't do it as long as you guys have, but the things that I went through myself. So that's why I asked the question and individualized it to see, because every person experience is different. And so no matter what it is, we all go through stuff.
And you was there with us.
See, we
With us.
See, we took turns mentoring you.
Yeah.
You telling us about solutions.
Exactly. Remember you used to come sit in front of my cell? I want my run back too.
Yeah.
I want my run back. I need my hoop guy. They whooped on us. Remember him and Wayne?
I got a basketball in the car too.
Yeah.
This past Monday,
All right,
we
next
did
question.
sleeping bag drive. We actually passed out sleeping bags, hats, gloves, Well, we had hat gloves and
Hand warmers.
hand warmers and something else. But anyway, we passed it out to the homeless. And the question is for everybody, but more so geared towards Patrick. Patrick, you had made a comment that when we were walking through the encampment over here by Target, that it was worse than being in jail. How did that make you feel?
What, experiencing that?
Yeah, or just
What, experiencing that?
yeah, or just walking out there and just making you think that being out there was worse than being in jail.
Because for me, coming out, right, looking in within myself and went through what I experienced, right, to come out and see someone completely homeless, right, totally abandoned.
Yeah, totally.
Totally abandoned, right, gave me an understanding and appreciating the blessing God gave me to even overcome the situation I was in, to even come back and help somebody else. I could have been a bitter individual and just, reacted to society different, right? Just like Pello told us. You know what I mean? He said, y'all could have did 1,000 other things. What made y'all choose this?
Yeah, he did.
And that was deep to me. So it was like, it's our calling. And you can't fake passing out sleeping bags. You can't fake going to homeless encampment and trying to really have an emotional intelligence to feel what another person's going through when they're totally homeless and don't have nobody. And somebody that don't know them giving them something. So they humbled me to appreciate the life I do have. And that gave me value. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by value. Stepping out of myself and looking at other situations. Because Allah tells us that too. He say, what? If you want to look at the situation, look at somebody that's below you, not somebody that's above you.
Yes.
And you will have appreciation where you at.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I got from that.
All right, brother.
You know what I mean?
Man,
That's what
first of all, honestly, man, all three of y'all, right? I want to commend y'all straight up, man. I met y'all early on, especially Fahim and Ham's right there. I met y'all early on. I met DT a little later on in life, but we all had some type of connection, conversations, dialogue, and everything where we was always right, And I commend y'all for that brotherhood that y'all, that's a true bond right there. So many people advocate, falsify it. You know what I mean? And to be on this side and see you brother shine like this, man, and give back, man, that's what moves me. It's bigger. Like I always tell people, it's bigger than me. So what y'all doing, man, it's big, man. And I want y'all to really know that. But my question is this, right? And y'all can answer it individually, right? What was you guys' biggest struggle? I'm talking about personalized. What was you guys' biggest struggle as an individual? Coming home from prison. I know your situation. And I know the hurt, baby. I talked to you. I left my number available for everybody. Not just certain individuals, but you had a goal of coming home. I left that number open for you. So that's what I want to know. Your struggles individually, and as from there to here, and what you think your biggest challenge will be in the future.
My biggest struggle, even right now, is still trying to adapt out here in society. And the reason why I say that is because in my mind, sitting up in that cell, everything seemed easy. And, for me, my hope in prison was very small of even getting out of prison. So I'm going to be honest, I didn't think I was going to get out of prison. So it was just like, just going with the flow. Because, just like I went in as a teenager. So coming out and figuring out how I'm going to be able to deal with reality, things I never had to deal with as a youngster. because I still stay with my grandparents. You know, so coming out, trying to maintain as a grown man, household, marriage, kids, and all that, that was a struggle for me. And I'm still struggling, just trying to adapt with society, you know. But my wife, you know, she got my back. You know, she can have my back, you know, for many years.
That's what you call it.
She's been my big support even way back. She's been my big support even from way back in 1985 when we was 14 or 15 years old. But that's one of my struggles today, is still trying to adapt to society. And then on top of that is what we doing now, the business. You know, so I'm still learning, and that's one of my struggles today.
For me, my biggest struggle, John, is knowing who I am. Knowing who I am. Because when I got arrested, incarcerated, taken out the streets, I was 17. So my mind was still growing, haven't fully formed yet. And so I took on so many different traits and identities growing up as a child. Want to be this, want to be that, do this and do that. So I had so much stuff going on, even today. And so that was one of my main challenges, really just knowing who Fahim is, what Fahim want to do. Because I see so much, I have so much stuff going through my head all the time. I see this, I see that, I vision this, I vision that. And so, and the struggle and the challenge for me is to pinpoint one thing, stay on top of that one thing, and push forward on that one thing. Because Keisha tell you, I got stuff all over the floor right now, paperwork, computer, this and that, trying to get so much done, right? But that comes from being incarcerated, because being behind that wall, we want everything compromised. Everything got to be here, set. But now coming back into a society was going so fast. And one of my aha moments when I came home was I went to Target. And so I had some stuff at Target. We was at university? Remember that? Mm-hmm. And so I was going to the counter to pay for something.
Oh, wow.
And she said, no, just go to the thing and scan it. I'm like, what you talking about? She said, show. So now I had to be retrained on how to adjust out here. You know, and that was a struggle for me. It still is. A lot of things I'm supposed to know at age 51, I'm still struggling to know, but the kids know it. You know, especially with technology. You know, trying to learn all that, this and that. You know, it's a struggle. What you laughing at, Ron?
I'm struggling with technology.
Yeah. So just, you know, that, and then with the business, learn the business of understanding that, the phone calls, the emails, and from them, Mike Dunn's, all that. So that's a struggle for me learning, but it's a humbling effect, it's a humbling feeling, and I wouldn't turn it around for nothing.
Oh man, that's that question right there. So Dave Allen brought me to tears. I can say this. I think my struggle for me is accepting things for what they are, not what I want them to be. You know, when I got out, right, I went straight home to my wife, and I had to adjust. I wouldn't say check, that's too strong a word. I had to have the ambiance to where I could be accepted, not just through my wife, her son, which is also here today, my partner, her daughter, you know, because they didn't know me.
Right.
You know, even though the wife I'm married to, I've been knowing her since I was 4 years old. Her father, my stepfather, her stepfather's best friends. For over 50-some years, they still friends right now today. So we knew each other since 74, 73. But still, when I got home, it was a major adjustment for me. Like, I had to adjust at home and really try to figure out, you know, what is my comfort zone in this space that I'm in. You know, because I believe in the social dynamics and emotional intelligence works for me. You know, so, you know, even when I look at my son, it's hard for me to see that he's a grown man at 31. When I was gone 30 years, you know, I miss holding my son when he was a baby. I miss that. So it's hard for me. I can't relive that. I have to accept that. And then try to be the example for him to say, you know, your pop made a mistake by the choices I made. Whether I did it or not, my hands weren't totally clean, so I ran with cats. I knew what it was. You know, I had to accept that. And then want him to see that no matter what, right? Make the right decision. You know, it ain't got to be what you want it to be. It's what it is. And live by that. And believe me, when you get to a certain age or in your life, your maturity kick in, not only will you be respected for that, but your mature level bring you to a level of wisdom. Because they say, if you know better, you'll do better. And that's what our mindset, that's what I hope to be, examples of other people's eye to myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll tell you my name, James.
What's your name?
I understand that you guys talked about a lot of preparation for coming home, even when you didn't think it was, you know, within grasp, but you guys still prepared for it. My question is, how do you adjust the things you didn't prepare for? Circumstances, disappointments, some things we can prepare for, but as we all know, life throws a couple of curveballs at us. So what do you guys do in that situation? The stuff that kind of just hits the line on us and you got to call an audible.
I call an audible. That's exactly what I do. I call an audible. I take challenges as they come. I adjust on the whim. Whatever happened, gonna happen. I understand what's meant for me is meant, what's not is not. What's gonna hit me, gonna hit me. What's gonna miss me, gonna miss me. And so, anytime I'm faced with a situation, I tell myself, whatever it is, I'm gonna manage it. Whatever it is, I'm gonna dig deep and manage it. For instance, I had a car wreck. I was hit on a freeway in June 2020. I had almost a brand new car. I was rear-ended. So what I had to do? First thing I said, well, how am I gonna get some money? Go on disability, right? So I audible, because I still need an income. I still gotta pay rent. Went on disability, and what I learned about from being incarcerated is understand the system, this system, and how to manage and use the system like everybody else managed and used the system. And that's what I did. I managed and used the system.
That's right.
So it'll work for me. I called an audible. I understood what disability was about. I understood what unemployment is about legally, because I put money from working. I learned that a certain amount will go into the treasury. It belongs to me.
That's right.
Right? So I did with everything I can to get it back. And they still got $6,000 my dollars up in there. I'm gonna find a way to get that back. And that's what I did. I just looked on it. I said, oh, remember I told you? I said, man, they still got 67. So my doctor took me off disability. I was pissed off. She was pissed off. But I'm gonna find a way to get that back. But that's what I had to do. But we learned to do that behind the wall. Remember behind the wall? When a ride was about to kick off, you never knew when a ride was gonna happen. But we always had a what? A lockdown box.
Right.
We always had a lockdown box. I do the same thing out here. I keep my lockdown box. If anything go wrong, I don't know when it's gonna happen, if it happened, but I make sure I stay ready. And I try to think 6 months ahead. If I know I'm not working, I better have 6 months of rent somewhere put up.
That's right.
I better have it. And that's what I'll do. It ain't been working over a year and a half, but I got my 6 months of rent put up. Anything go wrong, I call the audible.
For me, that question you just asked, this been my life since growing up. However they come, I deal with it, because we don't know what the unexpected just pops up. You know, so even in prison, you know, just in prison, you know, coming out the cell might anything, rod might jump off.
Yeah.
You know, so we always have to be thinking. I mean, because things gonna be popping up, and so if we're not in tune with ourselves, then we'll lose it. You see what I'm saying? So we have to make the right decision. And I always, as things came up with me, I dealt with it. You know, but I also knew right from wrong, and so I had to rationalize, okay, how I'm gonna handle this. And if it's something I don't know, go get at my wife, I'm gonna get at one of the brothers. Man, what do you think about this situation? See, a lot of times we don't like to talk about different things. We try to handle things on our own. If I can't figure it out, I'm gonna either get at my wife or I'm gonna get at one of the brothers, somebody that's close to me, and get a different opinion. You know, I mean, especially about life. Now, my wife, she's been out here. So when things come up, I'm gonna go get at her. If the things is over my head, I'm gonna get at her. Baby, what you think about this? And see, and we have to get out of that not being able to go talk to somebody. I mean, because I don't know everything, and I know things gonna pop up, gonna rise, that I'm gonna be way out of my control. But I know I can get on that phone, I can call her, call the brothers, and a few other people. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, hey, I'm not exempt, from saying I don't know.
That's right.
Stuff still come up. And either I'm gonna deal with it, and if I can't, make me a phone call. And that's how, take one day at a time. Trusting Allah, trusting God. Because God got my back. God had my back for 29 and a half years in prison. Because if he didn't, guess what? I wouldn't be here today. And that's how I deal with it.
I'm gonna pick up where you left off at right there. Along Zach boy. Right? So, in my life, right, I lost my brother, I lost my mother, I lost my son first in prison. I lost my brother in January. I just got back to him and made amends with him. I ain't seen my brother in 32 years, and I finally got a chance to meet him. He helped me buy my charger, put money down on that, and I get a phone call January 2021 that he died. That's an unexpected situation. 4 months after that, my mama died. You know what I did about that unexpected situation? In between all that, I made sure I built a relationship with them. Because that's my responsibility as a human being first, as a believer in Allah second, and thirdly as their brother and as their son. We lose that because we get in this influx in society to where we pick up society's norms and start doing things other than what we're supposed to do. I know I was raised to be a son to my mother, a father to my son, a brother to my brother. That ain't gonna change. I don't care if we start flying around here, you still gonna be my brother. And I'm gonna be that for you if I can. Now, unexpected situations that happen, I'm already built for it because I believe in Allah. And Allah has promised us that from him we came, from him we return. I'm no different from anybody else. I don't put myself on a pedestal. Why me? I don't do that. Why not me? And when I came to that grips and understanding, why not me? That made me become a better individual because I said, you know what? If I'm not doing right, then I shouldn't expect right.
Wow.
I shouldn't expect it. But if I'm doing right, then I'm striving to give my due. Because Allah say what? Get your just due in this world. You doing good, I deserve it.
Okay.
And that's my attitude. I'm not gonna let nobody short me. I got people to feed. I got things I gotta do for people that love me. That means that you're not worthless. I love when people depend on me.
That's right.
I will never be in a situation where nobody depend on me. That's what Keisha was talking about, the homeless. That hurt me. Like, I can never be that. So I'm just irrelevant. I want to be to where people depend on me. And I depend on them. And that's a working understanding.
Making that.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that's what we do when it comes to unexpected. You know that. You know how I get out. It could be we go outside prison. We used to go out, this be man, they riding out there. Man, that's our folks out there. It's our brothers out there. We can't leave them behind. We going out there.
Facts. Scrap up.
So, man, we going out there, man. We going to get our people. Period. It's in the middle of it. You know what I mean? I don't think about that because when my time comes, man, I just hope that, Allah have mercy on me to say I did the best I could.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Go ahead, Mike Gunn.
I got a quick, Michael Gunn, with Boy Patrol.
That's what I look. That's our brother right there.
This has been a good journey. It's been a fun journey for me hanging out with y'all and just watching what y'all have been able to do. And every time we're connecting, it's interesting because I don't think people understand even the training that you guys have gone through over the last 6 or 7 months and understanding working with youth. And I'll tell you that our youth are benefiting every day by getting a chance to connect with y'all and hang out with y'all. And y'all always so serious. And even now, the things y'all talk about and the part that I'm curious on is we y'all do to have fun, man. I don't know that side of y'all. What do y'all do? What makes you laugh when you go out of the house? Or maybe I should ask Keisha now. I know about the knocking. But what do y'all do, man, on the...
I mean, we always have fun when we together.
Yeah, we have
You know, I have fun when I'm at home. It might not seem like to my wife, because she never smile. But I'm gonna say this: from where I came from and where I'm at now, I'm happy. And it might not seem like it, but believe me, I'm happy because, like I said earlier, I never thought I was gonna be here. So within, I'm happy. And
but help me out a little more specific. Ice cream, pizza.
I mean, I like, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Just the other day, I jumped on my motorcycle, and that made me very, very happy.
And then what happened?
I got a ticket.
That's right.
I didn't know you rode motorcycles.
But that's my passion. But like, I'm always happy, even when we talking. I'm grateful, happy, thankful. I mean, because like I said, being here, just out here free, it's a blessing. Like I said, every day I'm happy. Even on my worst days, it might not seem like it, but believe me, I'm happy within.
I can tell.
Yeah, all right. For me, just like Dante was just saying, it's the simple things for me. Small things make me happy. I don't even do a lot, go a lot of places. I don't even buy a lot of stuff. They talk Malaysian, Keisha, they talk about the clothes I wear. All the time. Keisha throw my shirts away. Why you hold this shirt for so long? You know what I mean? They throw my clothes away. But I understand, but it's the simple things what makes me happy, right? When I just walk off this, I'm gonna tell you what's been making me happy, real happy recently. When I walk down the stairs, walk out the building, and walk down McDonald Avenue, and people blow their horns at me. Hey, people don't even know. I'm like, okay. This is where I'm supposed to be at. That's what makes me happy. They drive down the street, Mexicans, whites, blacks, hey. Go to the stores. I be seeing you. All right. Yeah. And helping and serving the people. That's what makes me happy. We get together, we go shoot pool. We haven't shot in a while, but shooting pool, we like to shoot pool. Like to have fun, yeah. And I'm gonna go on the motorcycle again. Just little simple things, We might go hit the freeway, go to Cash Creek somewhere, whatever. I like to do whatever. Small things.
Motorcycle, pool, casino.
For me, right, it's a lot of stuff, but I narrow it down to this. I love giving back. I love that Fahim, even before I got out John too, I got to commend you. When I was in the county, and they were trying to make me do 5 or 6 more years, right? And I was pissed off because they waived all my time. I was like, look, all I heard was Dante and Fahim. You know what I mean? These are my real friends. Brothers. They like Dante, like, take it so you can come home, man. Take it so you go. They playing with you. You know what they gonna do. You came this far, Hamza. We need you out here. I love the love. You know what I mean? That makes me happy. You know what I mean? Being around my son and my stepson, I can call you that, right? I love seeing them as young men happy. Sometimes I kick with them, I forget I'm his father. I'll be like, man, because I don't want to be like, he'll be popping out collar, we be rubbing shoulders. And, we was in Houston at that time, and I got to see him just like air it out, just like I'll leave it at that.
Now I got a question. I got a question. I got one question. When he aired out, how did it make you feel when he was on the ground out? How did that make you feel? I gotta say that to
myself. Man, myself. I said to myself, right?
We had to carry it, right?
Okay, let's go. This should make everybody happy.
Yes. Yeah.
We in Houston, driving around trying to, enjoy ourselves. So we looking for him. He tell us, come over here, man, this club is popping. That's all we heard. So we get over here, next we know,
The bouncer.
I don't even know, Fahim and Ronnie running to me talking about, hey man, your son out. They dragged him out.
Oh my
Laid
God.
him on the grass.
My God.
He completely just overloaded. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? I am so happy he is enjoying his life. Because we was there. I mean, he all right. He got
on the ground,
he got
water
his
on
two
his head.
uncles. He got me there. And I said, man, he all right. Just let him air out. He couldn't even. Water was falling. It was so hot. Water was falling on me, drying up instantly in our kitchen. He was comatose. Right? But
Yeah.
he was enjoying his life. And that made me happy. He like, Pop, I just did a little too much. Right? So I enjoy seeing Keisha and Fahim happy. I enjoy seeing Dante and his wife happy when we have get-togethers and kick it, because that's precious to me, family. We take that for granted. I just love being with them. I love creating with them. It's no limit for us.
That's right.
Because we don't let money and nothing get between us. We don't even value that. We value the life we value when it comes to institutions. When it comes to, recognize, we're going to make other people recognize our value. That's but amongst ourselves, I just love the fact that we love each other and it's genuine. I love seeing Rob. I love seeing John. Man, this guy right here, James, man, I ain't seen him since I just, I appreciate my life because so many people are dying and so many people are just COVID-19 taking people out. I came home in the middle of the COVID-19. I got chubby just sitting in the house eating because it was nowhere for me to go. But I enjoyed it. I don't care if people say, you fat, man, I'm living. You really restricted. I ain't on that. I'm living. I'm happy. Give me that cake. Man, I said, don't give me a slice of cake. Give me a whole cake. Let me enjoy myself. People be so, man, we got to, no, relax. Live. Because once it's over, it's over. So, that's what makes me happy coming and you talking, coming on the phone stressing. Tell us what we need to do. I love that because now we have value. You know what I mean?
That's how y'all that need to work with,
Thank
man.
y'all actions mean to me, and y'all said y'all was when we was down. I chopped it over all y'all individually, especially Fahim and Hamza. How you was my next door neighbor. Fahim, you done saved me from situations without you knowing, explaining stories and ayahs to me just on the tier. All I do is I wasn't supposed to do. I called my phone one time. He had told me a story about when y'all supposed to do something, y'all ended up blowing and didn't do something y'all supposed to do, missed a lot of something, you got blurred. Right around the corner, the twin cell, and I was gonna, smoke with him. And I said, man, Fahim just told me a story, man, and gave you a story. I said, like the girl into myself. I didn't make it, but I hung up the story. But I just want to thank y'all brothers for that. But my question is, how y'all say y'all didn't really, foresee yourself kind of being here, but y'all always talk about the brotherhood and the love that y'all have. It's 100 years, so y'all been down together a long time. Can y'all honestly say that y'all saw yourself being anywhere other than right here in this moment if you really look at it? Because as Muslims, we talk about premonition and foreseeing things, you know what I mean? And all y'all lays out and talk to y'all in the yard and have real deep conversations, you know what I mean? So do y'all really feel like it could be anything else? Do y'all really see your life going in either direction than this? Because I know when you first came home, it was something that you probably wanted to do. You say, if I came and got you, it wasn't no. DT, you say you had your issues with you coming home. Like I know this helps y'all being amongst the brothers and doing something that y'all know. But did you really think that it would be anything other than this?
I mean, honestly,
Anything other than this?
For me, I'm just, like I said, if my mom gonna come out and just work, go home, be with the wife. I did think, I had different ideas in my head, that I wanted to do. But sometimes, you be like, well, is that possible? So for us working with the kids and doing the work we did, the idea was there. But putting in motion, it was like, I don't know. So my mind and my direction wasn't focused right there. But it was something that I wanted to do. And we all know, God has a plan for everybody. And we never may not know. But today, we know. When Fahim came and got us about the podcast, light went off. It might be possible now that I'll be in the position I'm in right now. But I really didn't give it too much thought. I'm just gonna let it play out. And it played out, and guess what? You know, we right here, and we right here for a reason. We supposed to be right here. You know, so like I said, I thought about this a long time ago. I'm gonna go way back to when I was in Byron's Boys Ranch. I was getting ready to parole, getting ready to go home. One of the supervisors say, who getting ready to go home this weekend, you know, who getting ready to graduate from the program. Looked at, Mr. Gaines, come up here and give a brief statement, you know, to everybody. I'm scared to death. I can't even read. So I'm like, what I'm gonna say? I got up there out of fear. I was scared, nervous, and gave a beautiful speech to everybody up in there. Because I was one of them guys that did perfect program. When I went to jail, I did a perfect program. Because I wanted to go home so I can go sell dope and do this and do that. You know, that's what I was focusing on. But that gave me the idea. I'm like, he said, man, you did a very good job. I'm like, well, I'm saying to myself, I can't even read. But that gave me, that did something to me when he said that. When he commended me on that, that did something. I said, well, one day I might do this. And it was over with. Caught the case. Caught the case. And went through the self-help program and said, you know what? I destroyed my community because another light went off. I destroyed my community. I hurted people. So I started getting into my feelings, right? It's like, I need to give back to my community. But, like I said, it was a thought. So one day if I did ever get out of jail, hopefully, you know, it'd come together. But I never put any effort once I came home because I was trying to focus on my life. You know, my wife and, you know, be working, making sure I, you know, I pay the bills and all that stuff. You know, to be able to stay in the house, ain't that right, baby? But, you know, but it was a blessing though. And like I said, you know, Allah, you know, God brought all the pieces together, and that's why I'm here right now with the brothers.
All right, I gotta jump in.
Go ahead.
You know I do.
Go ahead.
I'm okay. We didn't foresee it, but I can say this is Captain Kirk right here. Right. This is Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk believes he can do anything. Right? And this is Spock. He's the most rational. You know, we gonna sit back and he gonna rationalize. It's a perfect balance for me. When I'm home 30 days, like he ain't come pushing up on me, we getting ready to do a podcast. I'm like, man, what is that? You know, not so much what is that, but what went through my mind was, what I'm gonna say. I'm a Negro from prison. I'm looking at it like that, you know, and he like, just talk, man. Do what you was doing inside. Just talk. And I said sometimes we overlook the special qualities we have. We overlook them. We'll look at somebody on TV knowing he can't talk better than you, but we be watching him every time he come on. So when he got at us, going back to your question, when he brought that idea to us, you know, everything else was just, you know, when we got on that path, it was just easy. Now we ran into some bumps and roses about business and setbacks, but our passion and our vision, you know what I mean? That's why we tell y'all, man, it was from Allah, because the name 100 Years is just, man, what we gonna name ourselves? You know what I mean? 100 years, man. I mean, I just said we should say 100 years. And I ain't know that was gonna stick. I just thought, we always throw things out and whatever sticks, we ride with it.
Right.
And so, you know, we'll have to support our wives too, man, pushing, like, you know, even when they go, yeah, right, whatever, yeah, you don't act like you wanna,
Right.
that burn a fire in me. You don't think I'm capable of that?
Yep.
Now I wanna appease her or prove to her, you know what I mean? And I know that's silly, but at the same time, I need that. You know, so, man, you know, that's a great question because we know there's a God. That's all I can say. That part is to say, okay, we want this, we doing this, and we just start moving. You know, and that's where it led us right here today.
And for me, you know, I go on ego trips. And
So do.
and I'm very competitive.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm gonna get my run back too. Got that. And answer with John question too. I hate for people. I despise when people try to think I can't do anything. For real, it just irks me. I can't do what? And I also always tell them the only difference that people have from us who are already in the society is that they was already out here. They had a chance to do a lot of things that we wasn't able to do. If we did 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, we were gone. They just had a chance to do it. And I told myself at age 23, I was in Tracy State Prison, that I wanted to go in my own office with my name on the wall at 23 years old. You know, it's not there yet, but it's coming. And I wanted to build a skating rink. I hope nobody's stealing my idea, but I'm gonna put it out there. I had this idea for real. I wanted to build a skating rink, or a roller rink / ice skating rink with the wooden floor flips, whatever season it is. Who done that? With a daycare. It didn't happen. But this is my daycare. This is my roller rink right now, right? For everybody. But I always had the notion to come home and be better than my last self, my former self. And that's how, by the mercy of God, I'm here with these brothers and with y'all today. That's what pushes me. My ego, people tell me what I can't do. Especially society, because we get that thing, That's what drives and motivates and put a spark up under me.
And under me too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think too. Because I'm gonna tell you, one time I was working at the Chase Center, right, when I first came home before the work at the New Warrior Center. And I'm working, I'm pushing a broom. And I have a conversation with someone. Our lead was with somebody else, but my lead man had just did some time. He was incarcerated. And so I'm telling someone else about the contractors. Now we subcontractors. And I said, man, I don't care about them doing it, man. Well, they the one making your check. Right? And I looked at him. The whole crew looked at me, see what I'm finna say, right? And then the guy gonna tell me, man, pick up the broom and sweep. Once I heard that, it triggered me. I didn't say nothing too much to him, but I said, watch how long I'll be before I run my own. I'm gonna be my own boss. Ain't nobody ever tell me that again. Yeah. Pick up. Even when I had a job after that, I never let a supervisor tell me, pick up a broom, you better do that. I'm a boss. I'm gonna be a boss. I'm gonna show you. You just been out here. That's the question go out of day. And that fires me up every day.
I have one. So there's a stigma attached to people.
Go ahead. What about you, Devontae? You got a question? My bad. Okay. My bad.
That's okay. There's a stigma attached to people being incarcerated for a certain amount of time. Do you guys feel like you're institutionalized?
I'll go first. No, I don't feel like I was institutionalized even in prison, even out here. Because I always thought about the streets, and honestly, I had a cell phone for over 10 years, so I stayed connected to the streets. And then on top of that, even though I had little hope, I didn't conduct myself as I was going to be in prison for the rest of my life, because I seen a lot of institutionalized guys, dudes up in there, and they was doing all kind of different stuff. And I say, that is not going to be me, because I still held on to the rope of Allah, the rope of God. Even though I had little hope at one point in time, but I did see some light, like in 2000, 2006, 2008, that they was letting life was out, because brothers that know that was in there with us, that the governor said if you took a life, you're going to do life. But I never presented myself as going to be institutionalized. Like I said, I never, for some reason, I don't know, it was just in me. I couldn't see myself, because like I said, I seen so many dudes institutionalized, and I say, that is not going to be, if I had to spend the rest of my life, that is not going to be me. Right. I'm going to still stay focused on the streets, and I'm going to still have somebody coming to see me, and my wife. How long was you there, baby, with me? Very long time.
So you tell me.
Very long time. Very long time. She stuck by my side. But personally though, I didn't see myself gonna be institutionalized, and I'm not on this side, not institutionalized. I might have a little prison ways, but we'll see, I'm institutionalized.
Right.
Oh man.
Okay. I think I dealt with a form of institutionalization, and this is why. I had a situation when my grandmother came to see me, and just moving so fast. I went to the visitor room because everybody know when we meet and greet each other, we go like that, right? So I'm so happy to see my mother. First thing I do, hey mama, how you doing? She say, boy, what you doing?
Oh my God.
I said, I'm tripping. I really reaching, give it an elbow, right? But I went through that situation, and yeah, and so I dealt with it, and I hold on. One thing I do hold on from being incarcerated, I don't know if it's institutionalization or being institutionalized, but I hold on the part of being security conscious. Being security conscious. Keep my head on the swivel out here, just like I had to do up in there because so much goes on. So, in a way, I still deal with it a little bit, yes, for me.
I got a camelback with you on that. I couldn't even lie and tell you that because my whole immediate family, from my wife, son, stepson, stepdaughter, that keep them dying laughing by the traits that I do at home. So that's how I know I'm still kind of institutionalized a little bit. But it's because I believe that we picked up, whether good or bad, we picked up traits that we use survival tactics. Right? And so I'll give you an example, a small one that you might not even fathom. We eat fast. I know I do. You know what I mean? DT, I eat fast because you child, you gotta be in and out 15 minutes.
5 minutes to eat.
Or you're not eating. Get out of here, well, whatever. You know what I mean? So sometimes I find myself eating fast and I sit back and say, man, I'm tripping, man. Why I ate that so fast? Right. Those are small things. What else? The way I fold my clothes, I guess. I don't know, just, certain things I do, because I know my wife laid in on me, man. She be, man, sometimes I look at her like, all right, okay, yeah, you could have told me a little bit softer than that. But I appreciate her so much because I got to look at it from the flip side and say, damn, I wonder what it is to deal with a cat like me.
Right.
She's a hero in my book because she toiled and struggled with me and gave me a family. She allowed me to parole to pick me up and brought me home. And I'm sitting talking to Austin, looking at him, and I had to figure it out. And it was just like amazing to me. Like, that's love. That's unconditional love. Because a person has to really love a person enough to say, I'm going to take a chance with him and say, you know what, whatever, or against all odds. Especially when you're dealing with a woman that has children.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because she got to bring somebody that's going to be an example. You can't bring anybody around your children. So I really feel that responsibility as a man. I feel like a hero too. I feel like I made a great choice. I'm like, man, I won. This woman, tall and strong with me, so I'm gonna tall and strong with her. And that's just how I see it. So yeah, as far as being institutionalized in certain traits, certain things I do, but I like those things because it makes me different. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to fit into a certain box. I want to be able to say, okay, that's who he is. You know what I mean? As long as it's harmless, I ain't trying to, do violence and hurt nobody. I feel it's things that, eventually I'll grow out of.
I would like, before you say, I want to say this though. Prison have taught me how to be patient, and if that's institutionalized, then hey. But that's what it has taught me, to be patient. Because, in prison, we always want stuff like this, send the box, send the money. It ain't gonna get done when you want to get done. So I had to acquire patience, and that's what one of the things prison taught me is to be patient. So yeah, I was institutionalized.
And one more thing, Keisha, it gave us great social skills. Yeah. Because when we was inside, we had to convince people to come see us, to be about us, to look out for us. Wherever titles they put on it, but I think some of the most dynamic people, right, when it comes to writing letters and trying to convey a message from an emotional standpoint, was very good. Because now when I get out here, I can feel where people coming from instead of just, I can feel it. Absolutely. I feel where people come from. instead of just listening to the verbs they saying. I got a high emotional intelligence, so I connect with people that way.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Piggyback off her question, so would a part of it being adapting to your surroundings then, as far as being institutionalized, or seeing certain aspects of it? Because like he said, you gotta learn patience, and then you gotta come to the grips of people not gonna do what you want them to do when they want you to. So would a part of it have to do with adapting to your situation? Because if you don't adapt in certain aspects, you can be eaten alive. Because that's just like if you're gonna buck the system, they're gonna have something for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Both. Being able to adapt, have the patience there and here. You have to. For me, I had to, and I still do every day. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's certain qualities that we do pick up in prison. I mean, because we more in tune with ourselves. I mean, because we have a lot of time to get in tune with ourselves, sitting up in themselves, and sometimes we have to adapt to our situation. And a lot of people, they can adapt and take it too far, meaning that they can be messy with homosexuals. I'm in prison, so I ain't never getting out on drugs or whatever they may be doing. So that's why I say, it's a blessing that we didn't have to go down that road. That when we adapted to our situation, we adapted, but we also said, okay, I'm gonna adapt to my situation to survive, but I'm not gonna do this because that's not who I am. I'm gonna do this because this is me, And so even in prison, we take things that we learned out and bring it out here. So it's a blessing in disguise if you look at it. I mean, because any situation that a person in, this is gonna kick in. I need to adapt to, just like me, adapting out here. It's hard, but I'm adapting. I'm not, doing nothing foolish what's gonna cause me to lose my life or cause me to go back to prison. So it's about how you adapt. Prison, I hate to say it, but for me, it was a good thing that it happened to me. I don't like what I went to prison for because I destroyed people's lives. And that's something that, that I'm still dealing with. Still trying to rationalize and find peace, with that, even though that was 30-some years ago. And that's really one of my hardest issues today, along with adapting to the outside world and along to accept what I did. Okay, I paid my debt to society. So now I'm trying to adapt and deal with that on this side. And it's a struggle. But everything in life is a process.
Yeah. That's just like, I'll make it real simple. That's like adapting, getting transferred to another institution. When you hit the yard, it ain't gonna be the same homeboys you had in the other pen, but there's gonna be some people there. And you're gonna adapt to whatever the situation is until you be able to have the cognizance to understand, to navigate on your own. And that's the same way out here, in anything, any aspect of life that you partake in, you're gonna have to adapt. No, I'm not a businessman, but guess what? I became one. And I have to adapt and there's laws that we have to adjust to. It ain't about what I like. The laws of how to run a business pisses me off sometimes. But I understand that to have a business is to have a working understanding within your business, you're gonna have to adapt to these rules and regulations that that you kind of start a business with. So I'm more so looking at, man, adaptation, man. I know I came home with scars. I understand that, I'm human, because I done seen cats, man, in prison. All of us have, that adapted and became mutated versions of themselves and be like, man, what happened to you, man? Criminally insane. Remember the guy who was on the yard and he had the fish net? He took a laundry bag when they had the nets and cut up the hole at the top of it and put it on. I got to make y'all laugh because this is real talk. He took the hole, put it on, wore the shirt, and tackled a CO woman.
Yeah.
And was just like really criminally insane in front of broad daylight. Scared the hell out of the CO. He tried to rape her in front of everybody because he'd been down so long he ain't had a woman. So he didn't know how to check that, you know what I mean? Like, and then you have some cats that go to visit and wouldn't touch. They wouldn't know how to be emotionally connect with their woman. Yeah. Because they've been locked up so long, they stay on the wall. They posted up on the wall. I had cats literally posted up like, hey man,
we had to tell him too, remember?
Hey man, sit down with your woman. He posted up on the wall.
Yeah.
because he was criminally insane. It did something to it. Everybody ain't built for prison. So I don't want to say that, man, you know, we got a perfect recipe for what we did, man. It's just a blessing that we made it through.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that didn't. You know?
Exactly. I mean, I want you to hold one time, as said. And about adapting, one time, this is in the summer of 1997. That's when they came and got me and Zakina, we was in the hole that time for the books. And so I'm in a hole, they flooded the tiers, so water is coming through. So the two sectors designed, they cut the fans off. You only can breathe. No air coming through the window, circulation, anything. And me and my roommate, we had to take turns. Putting our nose under, you gotta put your nose under the door just to get some air. I was going through that for hours. We didn't know if we was gonna die in there or not, right? And they flooding the tiers, right where they flooded, and it was increasing the humidity in there, right? But my patience had to kick in. We couldn't panic. And once that happened, you know, slowly but surely, but I told myself, if we can go through anything behind the walls, coming back out here, it's gonna be a challenge, but it's gonna be nothing behind like how it is up in there. When you're going through a thing of that nature. You know, when I first got in the yard in Solano, when I first heard a gunshot, the bullet went right over my head, hit the thing, bang, at a ride. Could have blew my head up. I can hear it over my head. So situations like that, it prepares for situations out here. You know, it's many more, you know, stories that we all that went through in there. We had to carry knives on the yard as kids, you know, not knowing when it's finna happen. You know, if you wanted to or not, you better be prepared. Same thing. You know, we had audible. We had to call them audibles to adapt.
Question. When I was in prison, I came at a young age. You know, actually, we was probably one of the youngest persons on the yard at Pelican Bay back in, what was it, 90, 91? Me and Hamza here, right? I think I became aggressive. I became like, I had to be, because I had that youthful look, right? I was real youthful looking. And the first person I seen when I came to Pelican Bay was this big 6'6" motherfucker. He's from Long Beach named Bouncer. I don't know if y'all remember. Big old motherfucker. I mean, huge, right? And when you come in these Pelican Bay, they got these big old brown, black gates. And when them gates closed, they like, boom, right? They want you to hear that, right? They want you to hear it. And I go down and get my bedroll, big old motherfucker. I like, God damn. Excuse my language. I'm gonna use that. Those y'all, but I'm like, right? Now I'm fresh out of youth authority, right? You know, I'm pretty chunky, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not as chunky as these. I'm like, wow, right? So I was scared, but I was the type of scared individual that'll hurt you, right? Prison taught me to be aggressive. Honestly, you know, and some of y'all know my activities, you know, and I find that out here sometimes that I'm still like aggressive in my dealings with individuals, people, and I don't even really recognize it. You see what I'm saying? So, what do y'all find yourself like? If you find yourself, I ask individuals, like developing some type of aggressiveness or passive aggressive or whatnot while dealing with the community and the public?
I can answer that. I mean, I'm speaking, you know, for me, I always been laid back, and it takes a whole lot for me to, you know, go somewhere else. I mean, anybody that know me, I'm cool. But I think for me, what prison done for me, it humbled me. Because And the reason why I said it because I can remember in my even though I was cool in my younger days, I still was a fool. I still was a fool.
Right.
He can attest to that.
Right,
You know,
right.
we rolled together,
Yeah.
and my wife can attest to it. I see you with your hand up over there. But I was laid back, but I could
Go there.
But prison for me really humbled me. And so on this side, because even in prison, meeting cats, they say, oh, this bougie cat. And then when they got to know who I was, like, man, what you doing in prison? You hella cool. So on this side, like I said, I don't allow a lot to ruffle my feathers. It is what it is. You just gonna miss me or it's gonna hit me. And I'm gonna try to keep my same demeanor because I never really been an aggressive individual. Things that put me in the place that I was in was learned behavior, trying to be accepted. If I see people doing something, I need to fit in. Now I gotta, but that wasn't me. So what prison did for me, it took me all the way back to my natural nature, who I am, who I was, and I found myself. So on this, I'm cool. I don't. That's how I deal with it because I never was that person.
Yeah.
So what prison did for me just brought me back for who I was, who I truly am as a person. Because now I don't allow people, or should I say, I don't try to emulate other people to try to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with who Dante is.
Right.
I'm happy with myself. So even like today, I'm whatever. I'm kicked back. But that's my story. I don't know if that answers your question, but but that's my story.
Yeah. For me, you said, do I ever get aggressive? Do we ever get aggressive when we come to deal with the public or the community? I really never had those issues since I've been home dealing with the community. But growing up, I had issues of being aggressive. Being aggressive upon and taking, being another person. And so I still deal with that today, my aggressiveness, because I know where it comes from.
Mm.
But I understand it, where it comes from, learn behavior. And that's another thing when I struggle with my aggressiveness. But at the same time, being able to constantly pray, it helps me. When I'm faced with a situation, instead of me just acting now, I can think about it. There's many situations I want to just act stupid, but now I'm able to think about it because I know one situation is going to lead to the next situation. And at the end of the day, it's either I'm going to be in the grave or back in prison. Somebody's going to be hurt. So the life I have now, the life that I'm leading is beautiful. I love it. I just thank God, for carrying me. And I thank everyone out here, who I can love and love me back.
Mm.
And that's what helps me.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I think for me, I was very aggressive, meaning that the crowd that I ran with when I was a youth, I can say I was probably the most aggressive. I always set the tone. And I think that's what caused me to go to prison. Because I was overly aggressive. Even if it had nothing to do with me. If it was somebody I love, you're not going to do nothing to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I hear you say something about him, I'm going to knock you down. That's just who I was. That's just the criminal mindset I had, right? I'm going to survive, I'm in Oakland, so, I'm going to set the tone, but as of now, no, I'd rather smile things off, right? Dealing with the public and everything, I smile things off a lot because I always recognize that, man, I come so far, man, I'm not about to blow my gig. I know what kind of dude I was. You don't have no idea, and I believe anger is necessary, and it's got to be sufficient anger, though. I'll give you an example of that. I don't think my son probably remembers he's a little boy. His mama came and brought him to see me. And I pulled it to the side. When I get an opportunity, I say, man, let me walk with him. And I don't know if he remember. I'm going to say it. And I told him, I said, man, I looked him dead in his eye. And I said, look, you ain't coming up in here. Because if you do, I'm going to stab you. And he looked at me. Remember that?
I think I do.
I said, man, I said, I'm going to stick you, man. I'm the only one that's going to do this. I blew mine. You're not going to blow yours. I don't care what you do. You come up in here, I'm telling you. And looked him dead in his eye. I wasn't playing. So I'm not about to walk the yard with my son, man. I'm not doing it. And I've seen that a lot.
Right.
You not, man, no. Because whatever you need to ask me, I talk to him like that. This is one of my best friends. I love him to death. He is so real to me. We sit down and I'm like, man, anything you want to know about, because the game ain't all what it's caked up to be. I'm going to give you all of it. I'm going to tell you where I felt that too. I'm not going to pretty it up and make it look like I'm gamed up. No, this is where I feel. You know? But now that you getting this from me, this is the whole premise of what we do. This is what we talk about connecting with the youth today. Now that you getting this from me, what you gonna do with it? Because you know you got the playbook. If you go against the play, you just a fool. I can't control your life. But my job as your father and as a mentor, because I look as a father figure being somebody's mentor for their child, is to give you the best ammunition possible, right? In whatever way I got to convey it. You know, we can't just be all fluffy either.
Can't do that.
You know what I mean? Some of these youngsters need to know, man, yeah. I hear you, but yeah, okay, you're not doing that here, though. I get you tough. I've been tough all my life. You know? But the point is that, man, sufficient aid is necessary, right? As long as they're to help those in need, man. Because you can't allow nobody just to take advantage of women and children either. So we got to be protectors. That has to be in place. If we lost that, you know. So, you know, other than that, that's it. You know, as far as I hope I answered your question.
All right. One last question. There's back there in the back there. So I see you had your hand up.
Sir, I did not have my hand up. All of my questions have been answered. I did not have my hand up. I'm going to give you the playbook too.